Activated Talks, and we are back again with another episode. And today we have another topic on green hydrogen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a topic that the Namibian community are out here talking about, and something we can walk with our hands in the sky saying thanks to God because this green hydrogen thing is here. Maybe I might not use terms like things, maybe because today we have a former doctor. They say the doctors know better. We have Dr. Shafuda Natangue. How are you today, sir?
Yes, very well. How are you, Mr. Maongo?
I am doing very good, very good.
Good to have you.
Thank you. Good to host you as well. We've been wanting to have you for quite some time, hey? It's actually a struggle to get you. A very busy man, I would have to say that to the public.
Finally, you have me.
Finally, most definitely. Doctor, could you kindly perhaps maybe just tell the activators on what is it that you do, perhaps?
Yeah, no, thank you very much. As you have said about my name, so my name is Natangue Shafuda. Of course, now you added the doctor.
Exactly. It's doctors out here. It's only us that don't have titles, yeah? Okay.
So I joined the University of Namibia in 2013.
Okay.
After graduating from the same university.
Oh, so you're a University of Namibia's alumni.
Yes.
Interesting.
So
interesting.
My study, my bachelor was focusing on physics and geology.
Wow.
That was my first degree. And after I completed my first degree in 2012, I enrolled for my master's in applied physics. At the same time, I then joined the university as an assistant lecturer.
Look at that.
And I graduated in 2015. And after I graduated my master's in 2015, I was then promoted in 2016 to a lecturer's position.
Wow.
And I didn't spend much time at UNAM. So in 2017, I won a scholarship from the Japanese government.
A scholarship? Yes. Okay.
And, I left the country, but still employed by UNAM.
Wow.
We have a staff development fellow policy at UNAM.
Okay.
Staff members who have excelled very well can go for studies.
For studies, and the university pays?
Yes.
Wow.
Pays, and
you would have never known that. Let's go, okay.
So in Japan, I registered, it's where I went under the Renewable Energy program. Specifically, my degree was, which was awarded, my doctorate was a PhD in chemical engineering.
Wow.
Which was awarded in 2020. And that's where the subject of hydrogen we have started with in Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah, at that
interesting.
Japan economy is trying to move to the green.
Wow.
Yeah, so
today we really are joined by a qualified doctor. Not just when you hear the word doctor, it doesn't only necessarily mean the ones that have to go and treat patients. No, this one is a doctor in terms of qualifications as well. But we actually hear a lot of things within the physics department in terms of student, how that course is a bit challenging. Is that something you would articulate on per se? How is the physics course? Is it an easy course? Is it a walk in the park, or is it something that you really just need to put your focus into?
Yeah, generally science has not been easy as by many students. You need certain standards. I can say that during my time when I was a student, from third year to second year, I was just alone in the class.
Alone?
Yes, but if I go back, the class in the first year and second year were so many. So most of the colleagues, they quit at around second year. And yeah, that is something. Science has not been easy.
It's not been easy.
Physics.
Yeah. Very well. So you were alone in a whole classroom?
Yes.
That is quite a story, eh?
Yeah, but I think recently it has changed a little bit.
Okay.
You could find in third year or fourth year, you could find 5 or 6 students. Yeah, but still it shows that the course is not really,
yeah.
not so many students are willing to take up that challenge because you need
exactly.
characters.
Yeah, maybe we are going to talk about physics some other time, because today we want to look at the big giant, the Namibia's economic reviver, should I call it? But green hydrogen. Back to green hydrogen once more again. If I am to recall correctly, upon your introduction, you had mentioned something of the Green Hydrogen Institute. Could you kindly deliberate on that? Tell us more about what is the Green Hydrogen Institute about, which is at the University of Namibia's main campus.
Yeah, no, thank you, Maongo. Yeah, first of all, I would like to give context on the establishment of the institute. It was in 2021 when the Namibian government started now going into the green hydrogen road, and the two universities, UNAM and NAST, were called in one room, and they were told about the country development, that the country want to go into the greener economy. And it was then suggested what would then academia bring on the table, what would they offer. That's where the institute was born, and UNAM was given to host this institute. The aim is really just to build capacity.
So NAS doesn't have any of these institutes?
So basically this is a national institute.
Okay.
UNAM is just
hosting it.
The national institute.
Interesting.
It's a baby. UNAM is carrying a baby.
Okay.
And when the baby is fully to go to be independent, this is a national institute. Basically.
It's a national institute.
But it has to start from somewhere.
Exactly.
So NAST is also part of this institute.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's like I said, the two universities were called in one room.
Yeah.
At the beginning of that. It was then given to UNAM to host it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Basically, the institute has about 6 centers because the green hydrogen value chain is very long.
Okay.
So we have the center of hydrogen production, whereby things like desalination, things like electrolysis are included. We have green hydrogen storage and transportation.
Interesting.
It's a center that deals with how do you transport and store hydrogen.
Wow.
And we have a center for hydrogen capacity building.
Okay, where are those centers here? It's the university?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So we basically have these centers here, and we have researchers who are working within these centers.
Interesting. Very well. Now, to just bring you back again to green hydrogen and just the country itself as Namibia, from a scholarly perspective, of course. What do you have to say? Is Namibia ready for green hydrogen? If I'm to pose just a random question of that sort.
Yeah, no, the question is not if Namibia is ready. The question maybe is the world ready?
Okay.
Because the subject, green hydrogen is a nascent, the subject is very new
in
many countries.
Very well.
And so we are, this thing was adopted in 2015 by the Paris Agreement. So the Paris Agreement that where United Nations, like where many countries came together. They said, no, look, we can't continue polluting the atmosphere. We must look for a sustainable energy. And that was where the green hydrogen started. From there, many countries started now working on their policies and all these kind of things.
Okay.
That this new industry. So Namibia is in the process of developing or of investing in this industry.
Okay.
Yes.
Very well. If I'm to recall correctly as well, I actually just went, I took some time to go through your LinkedIn profile. Of course, not to be a stalker or anything. I just wanted to get information. I had come across something you had posted about postgraduate diploma in green hydrogen. If I'm not, I stand to be corrected. Yeah. Could you perhaps maybe give us more details on that?
Yeah, so basically, like I said, the aim of the Green Hydrogen Research Institute is to build capacity.
Okay, build capacity.
Yeah,
very well.
And we thought of where can we start? So we already have a master's in renewable energy.
Oh.
But some people are not willing to go to the master's level.
Okay.
Some people want short course or diploma. So now at the JETS campus, our engineering campus,
yeah.
We are trying to come up with a diploma in green hydrogen, just for reskilling maybe engineers who are, for example, you can be a mechanical engineer or a civil engineer.
Exactly.
But for you to go into the green hydrogen space, you need a top-up kind of like reskilling or upskilling.
Exactly.
You can join that kind of a diploma. If you don't want to go in the master's route. Like master's is 2 years. Diploma could be like 1 year.
Okay.
So, and we are also looking into short courses where you can just do like for 3 months and then you get a certificate.
Interesting. That is very interesting. Now, since you have mentioned the concept of saying green hydrogen is quite a new concept or a new approach that we as a country is trying to take, what do you have to say in terms of the academia part? Are we yet to produce qualified employees? Because if I'm to look at the fact sheet, I mean, at the fact sheet of the Conrad fact sheet of 2022 and 2023, it says that at least 280,000 jobs will be available or created by 2030 and 600,000 jobs by 2040. Do you think we'll then have the qualified personnel or employees to take up these jobs within the green hydrogen sector, or so to say?
Yeah. So for me, I think like we still have enough time to start training.
Okay.
That's the main subject that should start.
Okay.
So basically, for when people talk about green hydrogen employment, they more think of engineering, science.
Exactly. That's
but they don't think about they don't think about things like law, economics.
Okay.
Economics of hydrogen.
So it's more to it.
It's energy. Actually.
Okay.
So don't forget that green hydrogen is just energy. We have people who are working on economics, energy economics, or law, regulation of this kind of things.
Exactly.
All this kind of employment that
definitely
are needed. But what is so the baseline is there. So we have engineers, scientists, and all this economics, accounting. What the baseline is there.
Okay.
What is needed is a top up. That's what we are saying. Most of this the bunch of these people will need only short courses. Only few specialized skills will really need to undergo maybe up to masters or PhD.
Okay.
Yeah. So usually in industries like cement or oil or whatever, you don't really find, or even geology, in mines, you don't find a lot of jobs like for a lot of specialized jobs. Those people are usually few. Supervisors or whatever, those one are, but the general laborers or those one are the one that need reskilling, like
reskilling, exactly.
Maybe the TVET people.
Okay.
They would just need something a little bit.
I see.
Yeah, so
very interesting.
Basically, we have the basic, the baseline we have, but we just need the top up.
The top up. Very well. That should really open your mind as activators. We are talking about green hydrogen from the academia perspective. And here, stay with us. We are still continuing with green hydrogen. So, Doctor, just to again come back on the issue of studying about green hydrogen, could you perhaps share with our viewers, is there any perhaps scholarships in place from the institutes that you would have to maybe talk about? Could you perhaps maybe just tell us more on that?
Yes, I would like to highlight that in 2021, the German government made an allocation of funding for scholarship that was to the tune of 5 million euros.
5 million euros?
Yes. And
wow.
Our first batch for scholarships was last year. Those students who were going to study masters in renewable energy, because basically green hydrogen falls under
renewable energy.
So those students were funded. At the moment we have those students that are doing this course at NAST.
Yeah.
And some are doing abroad.
Okay.
So basically the scholarship we have, and this year, I think the second batch will be advertised very soon.
Okay.
Very, very soon.
Where is it normally advertised? Because of, I don't know.
Yeah, the one for last year was advertised in June, I think, but this year is a little bit delayed.
Okay, so normally it's supposed to be in June.
Yeah, it should be around. It was around
June. Okay.
Yeah, but this year I think it should be in maybe this month.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
August.
That's where we expect maybe this scholarship to be advertised, and we are looking forward to see if most of the students can make use of this
opportunities.
Yes.
Very well. Thank you so much. I think activators, be on the lookout for scholarships on renewable energy, so that you get to be a big time player in this green hydrogen initiative. To move on further, I think let's dive a little bit more into the green hydrogen part. Let's say maybe, I don't know if it's the physics or the the chemistry part of it. So on an industrial scale, we would say steam reframing is the main method used today.
Yeah.
So it is the method used to produce green hydrogen.
Yeah.
But for now, let's look at the advanced and appealing process called electrolysis. Could you tell us more? Because that word is, the last time I heard of it, it was in high school, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. There's that electrolysis. What is that?
Yeah. No, electrolysis has been there for some time.
Okay.
So that is just electro means electricity.
Okay.
So that's basically it. So it means this process need electricity to work.
Okay.
So now if we want to make green hydrogen, then we need water electrolysis. We need to electrolyze the water.
The water.
So we need to provide energy or electricity to the water. Then we already have the water is H2O. Yeah? That's why we are able to isolate oxygen and hydrogen.
Very well.
But this H2O is a bond.
I
don't know if you know about covalent.
Yes, bond. A covalent bond. We are educated.
Yeah.
We are UNAM, so so to some extent, yeah, of course, yeah.
So this bond is very strong naturally.
Okay.
So you cannot just remove hydrogen and oxygen just like that.
Okay.
So you need electricity to break this bond. And once you break this bond, the hydrogen will move this side, the oxygen will move this side. That is basically water electrolysis. You have electrolyzed the water.
Okay. Sounds very easy.
Now, if the energy you use to electrolyze the water comes from renewables, like solar and wind, because you need input energy to electrolyze this water. If it comes from the renewables, then you have the end product is green hydrogen and maybe green oxygen.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's green because it's from renewable energy.
Yeah.
Renewables.
Yes.
Okay. So that's where the green comes from.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's where basically the green comes from.
Okay.
Yes.
Very well. Electrolysis. That is quite. It sounds so. It doesn't look like it's quite an expensive process, is it? Or is there anything that might go wrong? Is it a major process?
The cost of let's say the cost of making green hydrogen is two very important components.
Okay.
The cost is determined by the cost of renewables, the solar and wind, the cost of electrolyzer, which is that main component.
Okay.
So if we can have cheaper renewables and cheaper electrolyzer, then because that one is a component.
It's a component.
Now green hydrogen could be cheaper. Cheaper. So the cost of hydrogen is not depending on desalination or other things.
Okay.
Because of course, this water that is going in the electrolyzer must be desalinated.
Very well.
H2O.
Must be H2O.
Yeah. No
interesting.
saline or whatever.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting. So according to statistics, it shows that 50% of Namibian electricity comes from countries such as South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and to mention a few. Given the fact that Namibia's obligation towards the Paris Agreement, how are renewable energy an imperative consideration?
Yeah, so I think I didn't get the question very well.
Okay, maybe just to rephrase the question now. So we do have electricity currently, which is 50%, we import that. Yeah. So now with green hydrogen or renewable energy that we are supposed to move into, how is that statistic expected to change?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. Because Namibia, we have a lot of sunshine.
Yeah.
We have a lot of wind around Rodreds, in the Spearhead National Park. So we have a lot of wind.
Very well.
So, like I said, those are the two main important raw materials you need to produce cheap green hydrogen. Cheap green hydrogen.
Cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it will depend now to what Namibia want, because once you have hydrogen, this is energy, right? So you can, if you want to use this hydrogen to produce electricity, rural electrification, that is something to be discussed.
Okay.
Yeah, but if also you want to make use of your renewables to provide electricity for your community, which I think it should be happening. So like I have seen Nampower is putting up a 70 megawatt solar order in around Roshpin or something.
Yeah.
So that is a way to go.
Exactly.
But there's a difference between, because I get these questions like, what's the difference between renewables, like solar and wind, and hydrogen?
And hydrogen,
they are all energy sources. They are all energy. That's all energy. But the difference is, let's say Europe, let's say you want to export electricity to Europe.
Yeah.
How are you going to export it? If you want to export your renewables.
Your renewables.
So you cannot build transmission line from here
to Europe.
So that you can export
your
renewables. But
I think that's the biggest catch.
Hydrogen, and hydrogen is an energy carrier. We say it's an energy carrier. Instead of building long pipelines, you export the molecules.
Okay.
Because hydrogen is an energy carrier.
It's an energy carrier.
Yeah, mainly. So let's say if you don't want to build transmission line in let's say Congo.
Yeah.
And you want to electrify that town.
Yeah.
You can make your hydrogen here in Rodreds where there is good wind and good sun.
Exactly. And then you
transport the molecules
to that specific
area.
Wow.
And make the power around there.
Interesting. Has that ever happened before? Or is okay? Maybe the question I want to ask here on is that why is it only the green hydrogen chemical element? Why is it not a different element? Let's go deep in physics. Yeah, is it the only energy carrier?
I can't remember of any chemical energy that is any element that's an energy carrier.
Okay, except hydrogen.
Except hydrogen.
Interesting.
I can't think of, because look, if you see all this, let's say methane. Methane is CH4.
Yeah.
Most of the compounds
they have hydrogen.
They have hydrogen.
Interesting.
So the reason why people get hydrogen from methane is because we have hydrogen bonded to carbon.
Okay.
The problem with that is when you remove the hydrogen, the carbon escapes in the atmosphere.
It escapes.
So most of these elements, even diesel,
the
diesel we burn now in the petrol. This long chain, these are hydrocarbons. So they have hydrogen bonded to carbon. So any element that is hydrogen is carrying energy.
Energy.
Yes.
So the whole idea of it, if I'm to also understand, I want to be sounding a bit smart as well because I'm sitting with the doctor. Yeah. So if I'm to understand is when we electrolyze hydrogen, or let's say water. When we electrolyze water, the oxygen goes into the air.
The oxygen goes in
the atmosphere,
yes,
which is still safer for humans and the environment is all. But the hydrogen, which is an energy carrier, gets to be used to.
So we take it.
We take it to transport energy.
To transport energy.
Energy.
Yes. So wow. Because that's a molecule, so we can transport it anywhere.
Wow.
Yes.
I've never understood green hydrogen in its simplest form until I'm having this interview with you today.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's quite a very good in-depth explanation of green hydrogen. Okay, to move on. As we all know, the biggest threat of our planet is climate change. All right. So Namibia experiences extreme drought. If we are to look back in history, we have had such problems here and there. A large amount of Namibian population is highly dependent on agriculture. All right. So can you explain this concept of climate change in relation to green hydrogen?
Yeah. So in relation to green hydrogen, okay, that's a very interesting one. Yeah, because usually climate change is being contributed by fossil fuels. Of course, fossil fuels, they also have hydrogen. That is not green.
Okay.
But when we burn petrol or diesel, so the carbon escape in the atmosphere, like I said, hydrogen is the one that is now used as an energy source. So the climate change is coming because of the carbon that is escaping into the atmosphere.
Exactly.
So this carbon build up there and causes a lot of trouble. For example, our ozone layer is vibrating because of that carbon.
Okay.
So is that carbon is like a so like you see like your blanket.
Yeah.
So when you are sleeping in the blanket, you are very warm.
Exactly.
So too much carbon in the atmosphere act like a blanket on the surface. That means that the heat is trapped inside there.
Exactly.
So that is the meaning of global warming. So carbon is not a good thing to be. Too much carbon in the atmosphere is not good. Of course, we need carbon also for photosynthesis.
Yeah.
Plants need carbon
dioxide, yeah.
For photosynthesis.
Exactly.
But too much carbon is not good.
It's not good at all.
Yes, too much carbon dioxide is not good.
I see. All right. That is very good. Thank you so much. Okay. Maybe
so basically the reason why we want to go into the green hydrogen economy, we want to find an energy source which is coming now from water, which is hydrogen, whereby we don't have a byproduct that is carbon.
Okay.
The only byproduct that is coming from water is oxygen.
Okay. Considering that Namibia is a drought, it's a country that experiences drought. Do you think we have enough water for these particular processes of green hydrogen?
Yeah, the good thing is Namibia has a long coastal town.
Okay.
So the water that we can use is the water from the sea. We just need to demineralize it or desalinate it to the standard of, so that it can be used in electrolysis. So we have the water, and we only need to demineralize this water. Then we can provide this water to the hydrogen plant.
Okay, demineralize doesn't sound okay with me. Is that a safe process? What happens to that? What is that process, please? We want to see.
Yeah. So let me give you an example at UNAM Ohongo campus.
Okay.
Not Ohongo campus,
Sam Nujoma campus.
Yeah, Sam Nujoma campus. So we have a pilot project on desalination or demineralization of water.
Okay.
So the water usually is saline and there's some other elements.
Very well.
The water from the sea. So it passes through something that's called a membrane. So usually you can use reverse osmosis.
Reverse osmosis.
Once it passes through this membrane, all the minerals that make the water salt remain on this side.
There.
So on this side you only have H2O basically.
Okay. What happens to those minerals?
Yeah, this is called now a brine.
Okay. Brine.
Yeah, brine.
Okay.
This brine has could have a lot of useful minerals.
Okay.
At the Green Hydrogen Research Institute, we are thinking even of brine mining.
Wow.
Because remember that the Hyphen project is very big. Like, if we talk about the Hyphen project. So they are going to produce per year over 300,000 tons of hydrogen. That means that we are going to have a lot of brine left. Usually people dispose this brine in the ocean.
In the ocean. Is that good for the ocean?
For the environmentalists, we would be very worried about that.
Okay.
Because if you put too much saline water at one area, saline brine one area, perhaps it might really cause an island of death, whereby aquatics who are living in that area
Yeah.
would,
So it would be a
find-
threat to that
see
ecosystem.
different, yeah. So because that area will be highly concentrated
Treated.
of salt.
Okay.
So we are thinking instead of disposing this brine back in the ocean, why don't we look into what is there? Maybe we can concentrate it. We can even make cattle
Feed or
cattle
something.
feed or something.
Mm.
But this is a useful product. This could be a
Interesting.
useful product.
Interesting.
Yes.
Green hydrogen sounds like that perfect child, man. You know? Very well, very well. Now, I like the way this conversation is going. Now, since green hydrogen, there was a conference hosted in 2022, and Namibia was represented at the COP27. Or I don't know if that's the way I should say it, or should I say COP 27?
COP27.
Okay, COP27 in Egypt in November 2022. So green hydrogen plans took off, and these plans, we are seeing there's the hyphen and all that different kind of things. So green hydrogen development in Namibia presents several opportunities if we are to look at it, reaching from potential employment, economic growth to energy independence. So if maybe I should pose this question of the plans for green hydrogen. What are the plans for green hydrogen on the academia part?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say that we have pilot projects.
Okay.
So like the German government made 30 million euros available for pilot project.
Pilot project.
Pilot means just before you start with the big thing, you must already see.
Okay.
Must pray around.
It's like an introduction,
Yeah,
just
it's
to
like,
see.
you know, yeah, so it's
Okay.
just,
Very well.
yeah, before you start with the big thing, you must first test the technology and all these kind of things. That's
Okay.
a pilot project.
Huh.
The German government realized that, look, a lot of investors are going to Namibia.
Yeah.
So why don't we give some money for those innovative people who are innovative, who have good ideas, and they can do pilot projects. So a part of that was this pilot project must have a research component. That's where academia comes in.
Okay.
So UNAM at the moment is a partner, or it has, how do I say it? So there are 3 pilot projects, and UNAM is part of that.
Okay.
It's part of, we were having 2 modules, module 1 and module 2.
Module 2.
So we are already benefiting because we have received, as UNAM, we have received money.
Funds.
Yeah,
Okay.
funds.
Very well.
So to do a research, like I said, we want to look into the brine, for example. That could be one of the research we want. So we must have money to look at this.
Exactly.
We should not just wait for investors to say, okay, it's like this. So you need to have minds who are taking care of the country, having to look at all these things that are happening. You don't just want to take.
Exactly.
So that's why we are already participating in this research of green hydrogen.
I see.
And starting with the pilot project that we received the funding. So all the pilot projects that are up there, we are doing research on them.
Interesting.
So, for example, let's say the Daure Green Hydrogen pilot project. So they are in Daure's constituents. So we have people who are doing research on environmental, social impact.
Okay.
Because that will be a completely new village.
New village.
That will be put up there. There were no people, there was nothing.
Look at
You
that.
have to say now, okay, this village that is here, because the module 1, which is the investor, he cannot do that research. He just put up his plan. Now for us, we have to say, okay, what will happen to the plants that were there? What will happen to the soil? Maybe this ammonia are going to be thrown. We want to look at all these things.
Exactly.
So that's where the research component comes in. And through this pilot project, we are training our students, like master students. So we are giving them internship. So we have already one of the students who is working at Daure's.
Oh.
As an intern. So
Interesting.
it's through this pilot project. When that big one in the south is going to be up,
Yeah.
already students are skilled.
Yeah, they are
When we
skilled.
talk about the electrolyzer,
They
can
already
touch
know.
it.
Yeah.
So that is the role of
Interesting.
basically academia in this green
In this green
hydrogen.
hydrogen.
Basically to advance also government.
Yeah.
So that's why the institute was formed. There must
Interesting.
be a body that can say, look, we see it's going like this, but there's this.
Yeah.
So that's where we are coming in.
Interesting. So the researchers should be students of the institution that is carrying the institute itself, or do we get researchers from different parts of the world?
Yeah, at the moment, most of the researchers are coming from UNAM and NAST.
Okay.
I said all these projects are under the Namibia Green Hydrogen Research Institute, and it's a national institute. So everyone was free to come there and say, oh, look, I want to look into this one.
Okay.
Or from industry and all that. But at the moment, as a start, we have more of UNAM researchers and few from NAST.
From NAST.
We are collaborating on this research.
Okay. So we don't have independent researchers, just researchers, let's say maybe just scholarly researchers.
Yeah, I only remember, I think we have one professor who is retired from UNAM. So he's also part of that.
Okay.
Yes.
Very interesting. Very well. Green hydrogen in its simplest form. I think that has, that must have unpacked a lot of questions from the activators and some few things that they don't understand about the Green Hydrogen Institute and where does the academia play a part in this green hydrogen development plan of the country. Maybe just to finish off with one question, what are the challenges perhaps maybe or risks that we are to maybe perhaps expect to encounter with green hydrogen?
Yeah, basically, I would just want to say that there is no industry that does not have a risk.
Okay.
Yeah, so all
Very
industries, that's why even at a construction site, you find healthy work, how do you say? Healthy professional work or something like that. So basically, in the case of green hydrogen,
yeah. So
hydrogen is a very, how do I say? It's a low volumetric.
Okay.
How to explain that?
Low volumetric.
So, yeah. So
search on that. Low volumetric.
Yeah. So it means that in order to store hydrogen, we must compress it to minus 252 if we want to make it liquid. That's more safer. So if we want to, we must compress it.
Oh, hydrogen can be a liquid as well.
Yes, it's liquefied hydrogen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I actually thought hydrogen should just be a gas and that's it. There's nothing more.
Yeah, basically, liquified hydrogen
it's a thing as
hydrogen chilled to minus 252 degrees.
Interesting.
So, but now this pressurizing and chilling hydrogen is very expensive. It makes it very difficult to the economics of hydrogen. So what people are doing now, they are converting this hydrogen to ammonia.
Okay.
And ammonia is very toxic.
Yeah.
It needs to be handled with care.
I see.
Hydrogen itself, if you say you are going to carry a hydrogen tank from here to Europe, you also need to be very careful because hydrogen can penetrate, we say embrittlement.
Okay.
It can penetrate through the material. And once if it leak and escape, you know already there's a frame or something, it can explode.
I see.
So those are things that we need to take care. So in other words, the material where we store hydrogen need to be very, very up to standard.
Okay.
So we have
thoroughly monitored as
so
well.
we have a course on material compatibility, selection of good materials for holding hydrogen.
I see.
Yes, so we just need to take care of all we already know. Like I said, hydrogen has been used already. It has been there. It's just that it has not been green.
It has just not been green.
At the beginning, steam reforming methane.
Exactly.
We used to get hydrogen and we use hydrogen for whatever we want to do. But the industries already know. It's just the green part, which is now maybe the part of the electrolysis.
Okay.
Where maybe we need to,
Yeah, put more emphasis on it. Okay.
Yeah, people already know how to handle hydrogen.
Mm.
You know already how to work with it.
I see.
Yeah, so that's basically
Very well. Maybe just to, I think we've run out of time as well. Just maybe roughly just to close up, what do you have to say to the youth out there in terms of just the green hydrogen perspective, and say just to leave them those final words from the doctor himself?
Yeah, no, it's I just want to say that this is a new opportunity for the youth. It's actually an untapped industry.
Very well.
You go there first, so you'll be
you are guaranteed a spot.
You'll be granted.
Okay.
So when you go there first, it's always first come, first serve.
First come, first serve.
You don't need to wait for the train to take off. So you must already start. That is just something.
Very well. First come, first serve. Activators, green hydrogen. That is it from me today. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us today on this very important topic of green hydrogen. Until we meet again next time. With that from us, Activated Talks. Until next time. Thank you.